Good evening, everyone. We are here at the penultimate round of Master Race Cast GTR Monday, presented to you by Sim Broadcasts. Tonight, I'm joined alongside not Peter Butcher, who apparently is in a car and driving somewhere over the British Isles, but I'm joined by Staniak Kagash. Hey, kid.
Hey, good evening, everyone. And let's go enjoy this race.
Speaking of the British Isles, we are tonight at Blackwood Grand Prix, the classic demo track of Live for Speed, probably one track everyone has driven if he or she enjoys some sim racing. And tonight's car category are the GT3 cars.
Yes, the deceptively easy track with only 8 corners, including the chicane after the turn 1. But as drivers already know, you can lose a lot by making even the tiniest mistake.
Yeah, the 3.3 kilometer, 2.1 mile long track is again the classic track of Live for Speed. It's found its conversions into R-Factor, R-Factor 2, into Netcar Pro, Assetto Corsa. You can pretty much drive it anywhere you like. Most of them are even agreed to by the LFS developers, as it is the demo track. So everyone should be well aware of the tricky nature of the chicanes and the characteristics of this short track.
Yeah, that's right, Thilo. We already see drivers pumping in sometimes with time for pole position set by 2 drivers with the exact same time. Then surely only 400 behind, and so on and so on. And the field is pretty tight, so we have 6.5 minutes left in the qualifying. So we can see who claims the pole position in the end.
Currently up in front, Furtive Racing's Leo in the FXR with 1:12.22. And as you just said, the XRR of Conquest Racing's Gotchki also with a 1:12.22 in second position. So he did set the lap after the Furtive Racing driver. Third place, Sean Lee for Aerotech. Fourth place, Furtive Racing Sepp, followed by his teammate Hernan, making 3 out of the top 5 being from Furtive Racing.
Yeah, Furtive Racing making strong impression in the field as they used. Yeah, as they used to do. As I said, Furtive Racing are making strong impression in the field as of late. These guys come from South America, and they took LFS grid by storm, and taking the front part of the grid almost every time they join the race.
Indeed, and Pete and I were talking about that in the last stream 3 weeks ago, I guess. I think we still had the Football European Championship ongoing. Now we are in the Olympics. The year is fastly progressing. And yeah, Furtive Racing's first impression to us was the 6-hour GT2 race by Near Dimension Racing earlier this year. Well, if you take a look at the schedule, we still have tonight's race remaining, but also the season finale, which will also be broadcasted by Sim Broadcast in 1 week time. Then Pete Butcher should be back in the commentary booth.
Yes, hopefully he doesn't get eaten alive by mosquitoes, as I heard they are very frequent in his part of the country.
Ooh, better not. We need Pete.
We need Pete. That's the truth. Well, as I'm looking at the drivers who are finishing the qualifying, most of the cars, XRR and FZR, are driving with R2 tires put all over the car. There are FXR drivers. Some of them use R2 as well in the front and in the back, but some exceptions decided to go with R3s in front. And they are not making a bad impression. It's fourth place Seb. He's running this combo, and he's only 600 behind the pole position, who is running R2s all around the car, also in FXR.
Yeah, the FXR with the four-wheel drive obviously is handling its tires slightly differently compared to the FZR and the FXR. Not too many FZRs here on the grid. If I don't miscount, there are 4 currently. The majority of drivers took the FXR. It is the GT3 configuration, so probably the FXR the nicest car to drive anyway.
Yeah, the FZR drivers very brave to choose this, because they will be very disadvantaged on the straight with their top speed, and the power is lower because that is naturally aspirated. So the turbocharged cars clearly with a big advantage here. Let's hope FXRs don't cause any mayhem, because their handling is much easier. So fingers crossed for clean turn 1, but that's still few minutes away, as we have last 75 seconds of qualifying.
The cars are now crossing the line for their final attempt to set a lap time.
Yeah, as we watch Jarno Rohnalik right now, he's quite down. I mean, from my experience in race green events, he can perform a bit better, but GT3 cars probably not his favorite class in the LFS.
Yeah, the GT3 is a rather peculiar category. It had its strongest days back 2009, 2010, 2011, when there was the Icon Touring Car Championship, which was continued by New Dimension Racing since New Dimension Racing and Icon merged back in the day. It saw some fantastic grids with high-quality drivers, many of which you now see on some GT grid in real life. But since then, the predominant choice was the FXR. There used to be a GT3 championship organized by Last Lap Motorsports and especially the Kingsbury brothers. But apart from that, I don't really recall any championship use of these cars.
Oh man, it's so long I don't even remember it. So kudos for you for bringing this up.
You've been on the grid at times.
I have been.
Yes.
I wish I remembered that.
Sean Lee, the final car on the fast lap. He's coming through the penultimate corner and playing a bit of radio into the final corner. He ran a bit wide, coming to the line. Rather strong impression, but no improvement for him. So our final grid is set for tonight's action.
Yeah, and as it was mentioned earlier, we have two guys on the pole position, but only one of them, Leo, who did the time first, ahead of Goshki, will stand on the pole position. Yeah, third will be Hernan, and Sean Lee, who splits the FR drivers. Sixth is Gemini, then is Vinsu, then it's Rubens Barrichello, who actually we are not having the real Rubens Barrichello on the grid. I don't know who this is, so sorry. And then it's Redbot, Johonier C, Rakes, Mandula, Zesty, Donny, Texas, and then Sabot, Honor, and 136 mph. Top 18 within 1 second. 19th position is Expablowski, then is Gosho Carburatora, Tapil Mucha, Seba, Jarda Dohnalík, Ohnifus, Pedro BR, and pit lane racer in 26th position. Sadly for him, looks like it's last position again, but at least he qualifies and will be in this race.
Pit lane race, a rather familiar face from fun events and also from events like the Layout Racing League, where he, well, sometimes even got true to his name and raced in the pit lane, if I recall it correctly.
Yeah, sometimes a bit too much, but we all have our learning curve, and I'm sure he will improve over time. And if not, it's good. At least he enjoys the racing. There are a few names, apart from Jarda Dohnalík I mentioned before, who are a bit out of position in my eyes, which is Ohnifus, who is in 24th, right behind Jarda. Then maybe Iron Donny, but I think it's so tight in the middle of the pack that he could be anywhere in there. And something tells me Honor will progress through the field a bit further up.
That will be very interesting to monitor. While you are seeing some nice pictures of Blackwood in the background of our poster, the grid is being set and we will see 62 racing laps preceded by a formation lap. The formation lap will be led by a pace car. As we now take a look at the championship standings, and we see Lacunas for Yes Motorsports, or Last Lap Motorsports, or whoever he is allied with at the time, is leading the championship quite a bit in front of Gochki. Gochki and Lacunas are the only two drivers to still win the championship. However, Gochki has to score big time in the remaining two races to even challenge the driver from Lithuania, as he will at least need a podium finish and a victory from the final two rounds, under the condition that Lacunas is not scoring any points, just to be in the fight for the championship. So it's going to be rather interesting if Lacunas appears for the final round or if he leaves it being. In the team's championship, we talked about a strong furtive racing, and we indeed see it manifesting on this table, as they have quite a significant lead from Last Lap Motorsports, which are solely represented by Lacunas, and Conquest Racing, who are solely represented by Gochki. Still, these three teams are within the chance to win the championship. However, I have the feeling Furtive Racing might take a very big step to clinching the title tonight already.
Yeah, I think with their positioning on the grid today, they will, as you said, make a big step. It's in their hands and it's there to lose. When it comes to Lagutskas or Lacunas or whatever his name is at the moment, I think he's safe because whenever he joins, he tends to beat the field with ease, unless somebody from Sidus decides to make his life more difficult. But if he joins for the final race and he has some reasonable gap in point standing, he should win the title easily. For me, he's still a favorite, even if he's not present today.
So taking a look at the calendar, we are here on the penultimate round. We've seen 18 races this year. I remember like it was yesterday when Pete and I were in the booth on March 22nd for the first round and thought, oh well, 20 weeks of racing with a total of 5 sim broadcast streams. That will take its while, and now we're at the end of the season, just 1 week ahead of us, and tonight's race, the final GT3 race at Blackwood Grand Prix, and next week, August 2nd, we will go to Aston National with the NGTRs. It's been some season.
You reminded me of the first race actually, because when we saw the point standing, I noticed myself in there, and for a second I thought I raced in this series, and then I remembered it was the first round of the GT1 at Kyoto International where I scored the 2 points. So that was
yes, you did, and it was a very intense race. We have seen Jari Katia finishing on the podium together with Redbot from Race Green after a very turbulent final few laps with punctures left, right and center.
Indeed, it was really interesting to watch from the VOD. I enjoyed it thoroughly, really. But let's focus on this race now, because the drivers are starting to get ready, and we will soon have our grid set, which will be ready for the rolling start. Our leader has chosen to start from the right side, so he will have the inside line for the grid. We are currently waiting for some delayed drivers. Some of them disconnected, and there was a problem with the gridding process. So hopefully we will see the start of the warm-up lap within a few minutes.
Yeah, it will take a few moments. So, GT3 category. As with all GTR categories, it is made of the FZR, the FXR, and the XR, now seen on your screen. In the GT3 configuration, they have round about 310 brake horsepower, except for the FZR, which only has 301 brake horsepower. But still, these are big GT cars with 1.1 tons of weight.
Thilo, may I ask you which one of these is your most favorite to drive?
Oh, well, I'm rather a potato behind the wheel, so I take the FXR.
I see we are both men of good taste, because I enjoy FXR as well. Honestly, I don't handle the rear-wheel drive GTRs in LFS really well, or in any other sim for that matter. So I'm glad that let us enjoy also something different. As we are almost ready for the start, we are only waiting for the organizer to hit the button, and we should be underway very soon, within a few seconds. Yeah, as we finally see the drivers nicely gridded up in the pit lane, safety car ready to depart when the green lights are on, and drivers ready to follow and warm up their tires.
Atyan's pulling away.
Yeah. As you can see, we have 61 hot laps and 1 warm-up ahead of us, which should make the usual 75 to 80 minutes of racing. And I wonder if there are some brave drivers today who will want to try no stopper, unless I'm missing something and there's mandatory pit stop.
There is not.
Very well, then let's see if there are some brave ones.
There were some brave ones at the season opener who tried it, and it it caused some drama. But if you take a look back to last year, season opener of the Bagheera Zero Mileage GT Cup, we actually saw some drivers pulling off a zero-stop strategy in the GT1 XRRs, so I don't know why this shouldn't work for GT3s.
Yeah, well, you are correct. I think that should be doable. While I see in the background there's Luis Barros spinning around, and also Redbot having connection issues. Luis Barros was disconnected by the admins, and Redbot seems to be still in the race, so let's hope he doesn't time out. Atyan in his safety car is ready to pull into the pit lane, and the drivers are lining up to double file and entering the final turn.
Leo is waiting for the flag. He has the pole position. Beside him is Gotchki as we go. Green flag in Blackwood.
Yeah, Leo takes the advantage very well. He stomps on the throttle and gets cleanly ahead of Goshki. There's lots of happening. Sean Lee going on this inside of Goshki, taking the second place, going behind Leo. Gemini goes to fourth position. Then there's Regs, Hernan, Seb, Rubens, Barrichello, Redbot, Mandula, Irondoni, all lining up through the chicane. There's so far no problems. Only Tapil Mucha in the last position having some problems. Or wait, it's actually a rescue car, sorry for that.
As Leo has to defend from Sean Lee, who actually jumped Gotchki. Oh, shots with a contact into the back of Leo.
It almost begged me to say that it's typical Sean Lee, who tries to dive the inside in the last moment, but it doesn't work, and luckily both drivers escaped this incident unscathed.
Gotchki now taking the outside for the penultimate corner, but Sean Lee clears him well before the braking point. These extreme moves Sean Lee can pull up because he is driving with his mouse rather than a wheel.
Yeah, it's still very brave, I dare say, because it's almost like you are on go-karts, but this is GT3. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. But he wanted to try. He tried. As I said, luckily nobody got hurt. So
Gotchki under pressure from Hernan. And I'm using the slipstream, going to the right of the Polish man.
He switches back right to the slipstream as well, but Hernan holds the inside line, and Goshki tries the outside, but it doesn't quite stick. Hernan has it covered.
Yeah, the effect of the slipstream is greatly increased by the fact that the cars have much less power.
Yeah, and we will see it used to big extent because the lower power, lower top speed, drivers spend more time on the back straight, and they can use the slipstream to maybe even cooperate between themselves. Leo runs away in the front with 1 second and 3/10 ahead of Sean Lee already. Drives the fastest lap of the race for now. And his teammates line up in 3rd and 5th position as Goshki is under attack from Seb. So not a good start from Goshki. He's dropped 3 positions already.
And this has great implications for the championship. Not only is Scott...
Ooh! Wow, that's a nice dive. Seb holds it around the outside, and Goshki has to line up behind him and hope he doesn't lose too many positions, because there's Gemini waiting right behind him. He's already going for the slipstream, but he has the outside light for the next turn, so has to settle for 6th position for now.
Yeah, the grey and black Conquest Racing car is, well, moving down the order currently.
Yeah, that's not good for his chance of catching up Lacunas in the Drivers' Championship, because he's like, how many points it was? 40 or 20 points behind, and he will not do any big damage to that lead of Lacunas if he keeps dropping like this. Yeah, and Gemini is already on the attack, and I wonder, is Goshki choosing some different strategy? I don't think so. They are both running R2s. Oh no, I see. Goshki is not running R2s, he's running R3s, so he might be the one going for no stopper. There might be some strategy in play right here. So Goshki dropping down through the field, but not out of the contention yet.
Goshki currently 38 points behind Lacunas. The maximum points you can score are 26. That are 25 for a victory and 1 point for a bonus.
Yeah, his pace is currently 1 second slower than the leaders, who drove the fastest lap of 13.17. So depends if the leaders go for the pit stop. He can still make this work and perhaps even fight for the victory, but right now his deficit is over 4 or 5 seconds. As we see battle of Sabot trying to go down the inside or the outside, he chooses the outside line and brakes later and almost runs into the car ahead, but makes it stick around the outside, which was a really nice move. Now, next car in line for him is Mandula.
Mandula, race green driver in a rather interesting livery, a slight gradient on the car. And it's very different to the usual liveries he is using during RTFRs or other events in the XRR. Whereas he tries to follow his teammate.
Yeah, they both do nice moves. Seems like Rex was holding them up a little bit, so they have a clean air now and can pull away, while Sabot has still work to do. Behind them, Onur and Jarda Dohnalik are fighting for Onur and Rubens Barrichello, and Jarda Dohnalik joins the fight. They go 3 wide. Jarda Dohnalik takes both of them. That's nice.
Late braking. Ooh! He nearly checked up with rakes.
Barely holds it, loses the position back to Onur, but still good move from him. I don't know if it is known, but Jarda Dohnalik actually has some eyesight problems. I hope he doesn't kill me for sharing this information, but he's driving very well for a guy with his condition. As we saw, Rubens Barrichello probably driving wide, or the guy in FXR. Oh, it was Rakes actually. Rakes ran wide in the penultimate corner into the gravel and lost tons of positions. So all the guys who were held up by him, seemingly, gained out one position.
He braked too hard and nearly checked up with Arne first, and now his tires are red hot as drivers try to pass him left, right, and center. Oh,
there's contact.
Whoa. Oh, big crash.
There's a big crash. There's a big crash involving Vinsu Rakes
for Team America.
And he has totaled the right side of the car. This will be bad. This is definitely a pit stop and possibly end of his race. Still 2 cars recovering from the crash.
Pedro.
Texas and Pedro B are both MRC drivers. Not a good moment there.
No, and all of this was caused by Rakes having problems getting out of the corner, as we've got another car. We've got an XRI in the beach. Zesty is stuck.
He's stuck and he's spectated. I was about to say this should be a safety car, but he was faster than me. Faster than the race director.
Yeah, Vinsu in the pits repairing his car.
Not a
so
good
is Pedro.
Yeah, not a good lap for MRC team. They lost 1 driver and 2 other drivers lost tons of positions. Oh, and pit lane racer almost flips in the chicane. He hits the tire barrier, and this will be pit lane race for him.
And meanwhile, our camera is showing Sabot in the sandwich of Race Green Autosport, with Ona as topping behind that.
Yeah, Owner, as I said, he's already climbing the field behind Mandula. Tried to attack him, waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, Ohnifus spectates for some reason. He was already up the field. So that's a shame for him, because he climbed from the back of the field.
Sabot side by side with Redbot. 2 bots fighting it out.
Yeah, who will be the better bot today?
Race Green bot or Roda Praiser bot?
Behind them, Honor taking the draft of Mandula, and also Sabot. He might take both of them in one straight. He got stuck behind Sabot and has to lift. So he overtakes only Mandula, but he's still fighting. But Honor has a better line for the next complex of corners. Brakes late, runs wide, and Mandula is still not out of the fight. So
Honor having fun, showing it in the chat, driving in the orange Nissan Autobox Super GT car.
yeah, we have plenty of fights going on in the field. Right now we watch Gemini and fighting with Hernan, or at least trying to follow him closely, while Redbot runs wide and Sabot gets closer to him as we lose iron connection with Iron Donny. Sabot unfortunately doesn't have the drive out of the corner and doesn't get the draft on the straight. So next behind them is Owner finally overtaking Mandula and getting close to Sabot, but he runs out of straight and settles for the 9th position for now.
Beautiful look to this battling group from our blimp.
Yeah, very nice camera. It shows the beauty of this racing in a nice overview.
All 4 cars within just 8/10 of a second. As Honor is now going around the outside of Sabot, at least trying to do so into turn 1. Sabot having a really nice apex there, so Honor without the chance to really attack the position. But now we enter the long back straight.
Yeah, I think Honor will take 2 positions here because Sabot has a draft on Redbot, Honor has a draft on Sabot, and he will definitely go for the move. He goes down the inside, he will have the better line. Let's see if he hits the breaking point. Sabot breaks later, but Honor takes 2 positions, goes up to the 7th place. Very, very nicely done.
Yeah, and just in the background at the top of your screen, you saw that Mandula was overtaking his Indian teammate into the 5th corner. Counting corners on a Monday evening.
Let's not fall asleep, but so far this race is not letting us fall asleep because so much is happening as we watch battle for 16th, 17th and 18th, while I'm watching on my screen 4th and 5th position still following each other closely, but this one might be more interesting for now.
Yeah, we do have Texas for MRC in the yellow car up in front. In the middle, Tapil Mucha in the red, slightly pinkish car. Difficult to describe this color to its fullest. And in the black car following it, it's Saber. I'm having deep pink as color on my ear. Chat, what are you describing this car's color? Please let us know.
Yeah, let's let chat name this color. So as this battle stretches a little bit, the guys seem to find their own pace, and as Fatal Unfair names the color hot pink. So there's somebody big fan of this color, I guess.
Little rundown after 12 completed laps. Leo for Furtive Racing is leading from Sean Lee, the AirTech driver, in second with the fastest lap, 1:13.06. Third position, it's Sepp for Furtive Racing, in front of his teammate Hernan, who is in a battle with Gemini from the hosts MRC. And the championship contender Gotchki in 6th position right behind him. Owner in 7th position. Sabot not really able to fight back in 8th position for Rhoda Praiser in the very pink livery. Mandula in the green gradient 9th position for Race Green Autosports, followed by his teammate Redbot, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, drivers are from all around the world, and while the LFS community didn't really gain many numbers of new members in the last few years, I suppose, it gained worldwide reach because, as we can see, our leader is from South America, second place is from Singapore. We have European drivers. We have Onur, who is from Turkey. We have Redbot, who's from India, and many others. I don't even remember where they are from. I think we also have some drivers from Africa. We have drivers, or we probably don't have drivers only from Australia and Oceania. So LF has really got worldwide in the last few years.
Yes, Tapel Mucha on the screen in his hot pink car got around the baby blue FXR. Of rakes. Yeah, speaking of drivers from Africa, the first name coming to my mind is Ayub for Born to Race, who is from Morocco.
One of our most faithful LFS community members, who drives in plenty of races, sadly not today, but I'm sure we will see him in one of our next streams, probably RTFR. Very fast driver, very I'm missing the right word now.
He also has a very interesting YouTube channel of his where he uploads his personal race highlights from selected races. So if you have still not fulfilled your desire for Live for Speed, as Seba gets around rakes on our stream, if you still want to see some good Live for Speed racing, you can take a look at Ayub's YouTube channel and see what his highlights in several racing leagues have been throughout the years.
Yeah, go on and subscribe to his channel. This advertisement is not being paid by any means.
Other channels are available.
Yeah, you may also consider, oh no, and Redbot times out. Redbot times out. It's his bad luck today, as this tends to happen to him sometimes. Unfortunately, it has happened, and we lose a guy from the top 10, which promotes Jarda Dohnalik to 10th position.
After very difficult qualifying, as we see Texas in 14th position. He is taking a deep look at the rear bumper of Gosho Kaburatora.
Very difficult name, yes.
You actually pronounced it very flawless earlier.
Okay, let me try again. Gosho Carburatora. I think that's the way I see it.
It sounds good.
Let's hope it's correct.
We will get told, I guess, by him and others after the stream. Leo is now under pressure from Sean Lee.
Yeah, we have Sean Lee moving from the slipstream to the inside. Leo doesn't cover the line, and Sean Lee takes the inside. And thank you very much. Moves through the chicane in first position as Leo follows closely into his slipstream and probably will not hesitate and try to take this position back. And so he does. And, let's see if Sean Lee makes another late braking move. Leo goes down the inside, doesn't give Sean Lee any opportunity to take the inside line, but Sean Lee brakes very late as it's his signature move and retains the position.
Yeah, the black and gold Aerotech newsroom car into the lead for now.
I think we will see them battling for quite a while because Leo is not going to give up. He feels he has a good car, but although Sean Lee is currently driving better times, but his best lap time is only few tenths, 2/10 of a second faster than Leo's. Leo trying to brake late, get some advantage for the chicane and for the exit from the chicane, so he could have possibly the slightest hint of draft, but it's not going to happen.
I obviously need to correct myself. It's not Aerotech Newsroom, it's Pixel Aerotech. Sorry for that.
So currently we have the FR drivers in second, third, and fourth, lined up nicely behind each other. Although Seb is 3.1 seconds behind Leo, and Ernan is further 5 seconds down the road, battling with Gemini and Goshki.
Safety car is deployed. Rakes is upside down in the penultimate corner.
And yeah, I suppose he hit the sausage curb. I was going to mention this before the race because the sausage curbs for an FXR and XRR don't really mix together very well, and I think this is the cause of what's happening right now. So lots of things will be happening as Gemini goes into the pit lane, followed by another driver.
Pit lane racer.
Pit lane racer, yeah. Gemini taking the opportunity to change his tires and definitely going to the finish. Let's see if the others react, but I don't think going into the pits so late behind safety car will give them any advantage. Jarda Dohnalik takes the chance and pits as well.
Texas also diving down the pit road.
So this will mix up the strategy nicely because some drivers definitely going for the zero stopper while others might have to still pit, and because they were already past the pit lane, they had no chance but carry on. So let's see if this safety car is out for long enough to give them some tire advantage.
As Michael is in the rescue car looking after Rakes. Too bad Michael isn't racing as Rooms Barrichello is on the track. I wanted to make the joke that Barrichello gets the call of let Michael pass for the championship. But, well...
That's savage. That's savage, Thilo. It gives me some flashbacks. Back to the time when actually Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello were teammates.
Ona is on pit road.
Yeah, and speaking of advantages and disadvantages, Goshki will have advantage now because he didn't have the good pace after his start, but right now he's in 5th position, seeing all his opponents right ahead of him, so maybe he will smell blood. Maybe he will catch second breath.
Track is clear. From the looks of it, the race director is waiting for the final cars to catch up. So probably one more lap behind the safety car. Well, at least from how I see it, it will definitely be the final lap behind the safety car. If anyone decides to go through the pit lane right now, they will have to cope with the disadvantage they would have gotten. But the whole queue is going past pit lane entry. Sean Lee weaving behind the safety car. Then the furtive racing cars of Leo, Seb, and Hernan as the safety car and the lap signal is shown to the drivers. Windsor and Texas, the final cars in the queue, have caught with the field. Well, pit lane race is still at the very end of the straight, but he will catch the cars as well. Sean Lee is getting ready for the restart, and so are we. Pace car pulled away. Sean Lee's controlling the pace. He can go whenever he wants. Overtaking is allowed after the cars cross the start-finish line. He's holding the grid rather slow. And he is off. Green flag in the air for the third of the race. Well, for the second and third of the race, as the car goes through turn 1.
While the first three drivers remain the same, Goshki made a great jump up to the 4th position, followed by Mandula, who jumped Hernan as well. Hernan dropping 2 positions at the restart, down to 6th, followed by Sabot, Gemini, Rubens Barrichello, who overtaking 136 mph in Gemini.
Sean Lee's losing the lead to Leo into turn 5. They're still side by side. Turn 6. Seb is coming from behind. They are going 3 abreast into turn 8.
That was very, very brave, going 3 wide there, and
the teammates collide.
Sean Lee suddenly has a breather because both of the guys who were trying to pass him are now gone.
Oh, Gotchke with a move over the grass, playing the lawnmower, but that did not really help him. 3rd position for him right now as he is attacked by the next furtive racing car.
FR guys, this is not how teamwork works. Meanwhile, we got 2 drive-thrus for Pedro BR and Gemini, both for various pit lane or collision infringements. And Pedro gets another drive-thru while doing the drive-thru.
That's not good. Gemini was in a good position.
Carburatora collides with Seba. There's contact and both barely hold it as Seba loses 2 positions to Carburatora and Jarda Dohnalik.
And Seba now has the hot pink car of Tepel Mucha behind him.
Yeah, and Jarda also goes past Carburatora, who lets him by. Back in front, Seb slipstreaming Goshki staying on the outside. Seba taking the inside line behind Hernan and takes 4th position.
Our eyes are still on this Tapilmucha back into the breaking into the back of Seba. Seba holding the car as Tapilmucha runs wide or gets pushed wide by Texas, it seems.
Nice piece of rental karting racing right there. Almost all drivers held it apart from Tapilmucha, so felt almost like when you visit your rental karting track and spend some time with drivers you don't know. At least for a few turns.
Look from the back of 136 mph.
Who is followed by Honor and Vinsu. Vinsu trying to make up some positions. He lost with his crash and goes down the inside of Honor and up into 10th position. Looking strong, already entering the slipstream of 136 mph. But Honor will be closer, so let's see who wins, because the straight is still long. Vinsu getting the slipstream, but gets no space from 136, and they line up the way they entered the straight, so no change in position there.
.136 mph with the username "Kill Me, I'm God."
Yeah, I think we could agree on calling him just 136 for convenience reasons, as we watch Seb attacking his teammate for the 3rd position. Easy. This is how the teamwork works, guys. This is how you do it. Hernan runs a little bit wide, which makes it for a bit easier for Seb. But doesn't make it easier for himself, as Goshki is now getting closer to him into his slipstream, actually. And he will have him by the end of the straight.
Goshki around the outside.
Yeah, the outside, sorry. Hernan holds it for now. Meanwhile, crazy scrap for 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th position.
Yeah, Ona following 136 and Rubens Barrichello.
Owner in the slipstream of 136 and taking full advantage of it. Takes the outside. I think he will brake later, and he does. No problem for him. Takes the 9th position and follows Vinsu, who is already into P8. Nice recovery, as we have pit lane racer behind the barrier. What happened there? I think he hit the sausage curb again. Luckily, he's not on the track, so the race director allows him to spectate, and no interruption of the race is necessary.
That leaves us with 18 cars still on the track. after 26 qualified for this race. Sean Lee rather defensive as we look through his rear window. Underneath his big rear wing, we see the furtive racing car.
Yeah, the guys are still like on a rubber band, followed each other closely. Currently the gap is between 3 to 5 tenths of a second. And Seb does 1:12.77, which is the fastest lap of the race for now. So he might be in the contention as well if he keeps doing laps like these, because Sean Lee going fast, but still tries to be a bit defensive to not give Leo any advantage whatsoever.
Oh, Sean. Only on two wheels.
Oh, and Hernan in the tires. He's in the tires, he loses plenty of position and still hasn't recovered. No damage to the car, but a big damage to his race progress. Sorry, Thilo, he drops down to 13th position.
Basically, I wanted to second that with the Argentinian with the number 10 on his car, rejoining at the tail end of the sharp field, so to speak.
Yeah. I suspect another sausage curb incident, as we see 136 fighting with Rubens Barrichello.
Both drivers on R3s, which makes them stand out in the XRR subcategory. So they really need to be aggressive with their tires to keep heat in them throughout the remainder of this race.
Yeah, I wonder if these guys just had an R2 qualifying set and put R3 tires without any changes, so because his tires are pretty cold and he's not able to go any faster on this, I think. Oh no, sorry, I had the luck and I saw something that didn't happen.
Yeah, the tricky nature of internet racing, you suddenly see actions that never happened. Sean Lee completed the first half of this race, still defending from Leo, but getting the better exit from the turn 2, 3, 4 chicane onto the back straight. So he is safe for now. However, behind him and Leo, Seb is getting closer, and the gap to Gotchki increased quite a bit.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as I mentioned, Goshki catching maybe second breath after the restart, it's not happening. His tires are cold, he has no pace, already 7 seconds behind the podium positions, so he will be happy with where he is, I suppose.
Gemini is recovering from his drive-through penalty. He's now up in 11th position. rather decent for his unfortunate race so far. Was in a good position with his pit stop during the safety car, as he's now in the slipstream of 136. 136, not really defending it. And the master race car drivers getting past the anime manga inspired livery into 11th position. Sorry, into 10th position. Gosho Kaburatora made a pit stop. He's now down into 17th position. Slowly exiting the pit lane as Hernan and Yada are fighting. Hernan recovering from his earlier spin in the white, black and red car, following the blue and white car of Jaroslav Danalik. And you really can see in these few shots how big the advantage of Hernan is entering the straight. Now he's translating all that momentum into top speed, and Jaroslav Danalik has nothing to do but to tuck back into the slipstream at the very end of the straight, and, well, losing the position to the furtive racing driver. Marshals around the course are showing blue flags to some drivers, including Gosho, but no blue flagged drivers ahead of the two we are seeing right now. Mandula is closely followed by Sabot. Oh, and Hernan is making the move on 136. Taking the 11th position of the XRR driver.
Yeah, owner gets a stop and go penalty, 10-second stop and go penalty for causing collision during safety car and overtaking before the start finish line on the restart. So it's a massive hit for him as he drops from the 8th position. This will cost him. He's not stopping, he's just going through. He will not serve his penalty this time. And he's not happy about it. That's not what he imagined. But I guess that's what you get for causing incidents like this. We have few nice battles to follow, but the one we are focusing now is Leo and Sean Lee, obviously, because it's for the lead. We are just about 45 laps in the race, or 36, plus the one warm-up lap. And Leo is not wasting any time. He's finally in the slipstream and going for it as Sean Lee goes massively into the defense. Let's see how this turns out. Side by side into the next turn, Sean Lee goes for a slipstream. What is he going to do? A late braking and and it's collision.
Sean making the contact with Leo.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was not unexpected, honestly, but it's really brave with these guys because they are from the opposite side of the globe, and with these pings, you should be more careful what you do.
Furtive Racing's Hannah now in the pits, and he's getting lapped by his teammates.
Yeah, that spin in the chicane really cost him a lot, and this might be a hit for the team's ambitions to take the title or get a big gap ahead of the last race. So at least Leo and Seb are still in the podium.
Yeah, and Leo and Seb are in front of Conquest Racing's Gotchki, and without lacunas on the grid, Last Lap Motorsport isn't scoring points either, so they are still in a very good position to clinch the title tonight. Top 3 within a second. Now they are closing up to an FXR in front of them.
Yes.
Gosha Kaburatora.
Seb doing the smart thing and not attacking Leo because they are probably about the same pace. Carburatora lets Sean Lee through as Sabot attacks Mangala. No, he doesn't.
And Gosha already has a warning.
He doesn't let Sean Lee through, and he has to basically spin him to let him know what he thinks about it. But he loses 2 positions in the process, so he has to attack Seb now.
Slipstream off Seb to the outside. Contact
again. Sean Lee braking later as usual and takes the 2nd position, so he at least regains 1 position back quickly, but now he has to take care of Leo, who might not be so kind to him next time by.
Let's call it intense racing there for the podium positions.
Very. And Seb tries the inside, but luckily there's no contact. These 3, this will be fun. This will be fun to watch, definitely. As I said, there are a few other battles through the field, but this takes the cake.
Sean Lee's driving style sometimes reminds me of Paul Tracy, especially when he entered a couple of races in the unified IndyCar series. Basically, he would position the car that in such a way that you had to decide if you want to crash or if you want to make it around the corner.
Yeah, so basically Hamilton versus Verstappen.
Yes, basically. Just with a very clear indicator who is wrong, in my opinion at least. That was PT.
Yeah.
In IndyCar, I won't be judging on what happened in Formula 1 just a couple of weeks ago.
It's still fresh and the emotions are still high among the fans, so let's not bring it up too much in here. And I apologize if somebody might think that I brought it up unnecessarily. But we already have a message from the race control that the incident between Sean Lee and Gosho Carburatora will be investigated, and I'm sure the penalty will be severe because this was definitely not cool. Sean Lee drives the fastest lap of the race, 1:12.67. He's coming for Leo and he's coming fast. Leo is not giving up so easily though, because his lap time was only 0.08 of a second slower.
Sean Lee is erratically using his flashlights. but Leo is quite a bit ahead, and well, currently with the current Lightning model, it doesn't really make such a difference if you flash the lights or if you don't.
Oh, Sabot runs a bit wide at the exit of the corner after long straight, which lets no, it's not Mandula. But Mandula actually is in fight, and he's overtaken by Vinsu, who doesn't stop gaining positions. He's up in 6th, and he has Sabot in his sights next, as Carburatora doesn't give way as fast as he would want to, or as he should. He holds up Vinsu, he doesn't give him the space on the inside. This guy has some reserves in understanding blue flags, clearly. But Vinsu will have the draft, and he will hit him at the end of the straight as shortly improves his lap time to 12.61, his best lap time. Yeah, Vinsu is past Carburatora, who for a moment it looked like he wants to fight this as Leo has to defend from Sean Lee. Sean Lee is already up into his what's his name?
Bumper, diffuser,
luggage box,
luggage box, trunk.
Sean Lee improves into his time another 400s into 112.57, so he's not messing around. He will want this first place. And he's not in his draft, so it will not happen on this straight. It's just very close, but not going to happen now. Sean Lee doesn't go for his signature dive bomb, so he will have to wait at least into the next turn after this chicane. Vinsu is in 5th position, overtaking Sabot. Sabot trying to take it back, but I don't think it's going to happen. Vinsu clearly has the upper hand, better pace, better car, better tires, you name it. It's all on his side, and he's in the top 5. Great job.
Yeah, the Team America driver from Chile overtaking the Brazilian for road appraisal.
As Gosho Carburatora gets 10 seconds stop and go penalty for the obvious, as we all saw. It was inevitable, and I'm glad this happened. Hopefully he learns a little bit from this. It was not a good piece of behavior.
Yes, but one may point out that these Monday night GTR races are organized on an open server which gets passworded when qualifying starts. So basically everyone who is interested in racing these cars around the track competitively can join on a Monday evening and a Monday night, and then take his chance. And maybe if you don't have that much experience like Gosho Carburatora from Bulgaria, you might find it difficult to race these races, and you can learn from these races.
Exactly. Only thing you have to do before joining this race is joining MRC Discord, which you can find on LFS forums. Then you can find on the Discord you can find the password you need for joining the server. As we still watch Sean Lee following Leo, still not getting the draft he needs. Although making very fast laps, Leo is not giving it for free. Sean Lee getting close on the brakes again, but next few turns are not suitable for any kind of brave moves of his character. He gets...
Sean Lee getting really close there for Leo. Kaburatora complete the stop and go penalty meanwhile, as we are on the bonnet. Oh, late dive by Sean Lee. And now Sean is chasing Leo, slipstreaming down the straight. Side by side. Oh, clearing him into the braking zone. And Leo gets the better run through the corner as Sean runs slightly wide. Ooh, to abreast through the fast chicane. And Leo still not giving up his position. They are driving rather physically, you might want to call it.
I apologize, I timed out again, so I hope I can manage to stay until the end of the race, which Leo has to defend to stay in the first place, but Sean Lee close almost grabbing the car of Leo and going to the first position for now, as Leo has sufficient gap for the slipstream. But he doesn't take advantage of it. Seems like he's not in the mood for fighting, maybe, or just wants to wait behind for a bit and see what Sean does. I don't think Sean will go slower. I think Sean will go faster. He will just run away.
At least he will try. However, with Leo and Sepp both being rather rapid around the circuit, I'm not too sure Sean is really, well, getting ahead too much.
Yeah, well, with still 15 laps to go, his tires are a bit colder than the FXR guys, so this might still show in the later stages of the race as we enter the last third, I think.
Indeed, 15 laps are remaining, and a little bird just told me that if the positions are staying like they are right now, Gotchki will need a win in the final round with the fast slap, and Mr. Excellent, who is currently in the chat, may not drive. Under these conditions, Gotchki can still win the title. Otherwise, it will be Lacunas.
Yeah, Gotchki probably happy with the fourth position after qualifying second, because few drivers lost positions, and I don't think he would have pace to compete with them. He's currently 11 seconds behind the leader. Even with the safety car, without the safety car, it would be much more than this. So fourth is probably his today's maximum, unless something else happens, as we still have the top three battling or being close together. Who knows? Sean Lee already pulling a half a second gap with lapped car ahead, which is Pedro BR, who I believe will be more cooperating when letting them lap him.
Pedro BR in this rather beautiful Aston Martin livery from FIA GT days. Indeed. Right around 2008, 9, 10.
Indeed, it is a skin I use on FZR as well if I decide to use it. I mean the car. Very nice, and Sean Lee already flashing his lights. Not very patient with Leo, breathing down his neck, and Pedro moves away. But still, Leo gains a little bit. Not enough to get into the slipstream. But 2/10 in this lap. Let's see if he has a good exit out of the hairpin and out of chicane. He might have the slipstream. I saw the gap pop down under 0.3 for a bit, but it's not going to happen. It's not happening now. Another lap driver, Tapio Mucha. Sean Lee again flashing the lights. He's nervously showing the other drivers that he's in a hurry.
Yeah, Sean is getting close now to the hot pink car, which is
not very hot to let them buy in the right place, but he runs himself wide, and in the process he gives them way. Next ahead is Owner, who is battling with another car. And this will be more interesting because Owner is not going to give this up for free as well, because it's his fight with Seba. Owner goes past Seba. Seba maybe lets him by, but still, two cars together, two leaders coming by. Hopefully nothing bad happens.
Seba and Owner are fighting for 13th position.
Yeah, Owner, after his stop and go, by the way, dropped really down the order, and at first he was in top 10 easily, but now he has to settle for what he has. Race director already Seba, race director cautioning the drivers as Sean Lee doesn't give Seba any space, any time to move away, and just bumps him out of the road. How will stewards handle this? I think this shouldn't be any problem for Sean Lee, because the drivers with blue flag were not really in a hurry. But it smells a bit fishy. Yeah.
Yes. We are not the stewards. We will have to take a look into the chat and maybe have a little bird telling us what the stewards are coming up with in the final 12 laps of this race.
Yeah, but still plenty of time for the stewards to give some decisions. So I think we will see soon if this is under investigation or not. While Goshki actually does fastest lap of the race, 1:12.46. So his tires coming alive at last. Race director already reprimanding one of the drivers, but that's Carburatora, who is already a long time being passed. But I think this goes for everyone who was in the way of the leaders within the last 20 laps, I think.
MRC's Texas is making a move on 136. They are side by side through turn 1 and they make contact. And 136 has to go through the emergency road.
Yeah, well, unlucky for him, but I didn't see it properly. But do you think it was a racing incident?
Asking that a commentator is always tricky. From the glimpse I saw, the Briton had the better exit, but the racing lines simply converged, and it was my gut feeling is racing incident, but without instant replays, I wouldn't even try to judge it.
I will not pressure you any further.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
As I'm looking through the order, the closest battle we have on screen right now with Mandula and Sabot, they are 0.6 of a second apart. Same distance as Sean Lee and Leo for the first position, but Sean Lee seems to be finally getting away as he dispatched most of the lapped cars. So Mandula maybe in a mood for position improvement. Rest of the field seems very stretched as other drivers are multiple seconds apart from each other. Mandula slightly slower, so this is calm before the storm of the last laps. We may do a quick rundown of the order with Sean Lee in the lead, with Leo close behind, followed by Seb, then Goshki, who currently owns the fastest lap still, and it's Vinsu, who climbed the order after his massive crash up in the fifth place, followed by Gemini and Sabot, who's fighting in the Mandula, as we mentioned a while ago. And it's Rubens Barrichello, who in the red colors of Ferrari circles around in 9th position. Jarda Dohnalik, who climbed as well from last positions of from depth of the field, and now rounding up the top 10. As we switch back to the leaders, but as also Mandula finally attacking Sabot side by side into the first turn. Mandula on the outside, trying his luck. Sabot with the slower exit. And the Mandula takes the advantage of it and goes to 7th position. Very nice, very respectful racing. This is what we want to see.
And very close. I mean, Mandula pretty much moved in front of his fellow XRR driver in the moment where a piece of paper would have fitted between those two cars.
Indeed, and even with the ping, now we switch back to the leaders as Leo is closer to Sean Lee for some reason. His tires are getting colder. The left side is in okay temperature, but the inside is stone cold. But Leo's tires seem much better for the last 7 laps. Leo goes side by side for the inside, which is surprising because I thought Sean Lee would defend much harder. Leo taking the inside line, Sean Lee his outside line and holds it, which actually is something he has done multiple times in this race. So I don't think Leo will have easy time getting the lead back. Sean Lee has to defend. Goes a little bit wide as Leo takes the apex of this turn, but there's no space to overtake. He has to follow and wait. He will lose some downforce, and he loses the slipstream as well in the process. There's a contact somewhere in the midfield as Vinsu loses positions. Vinsu had probably hit the sausage curb down to 8th place, which is a big shame.
He has a puncture, front left.
He has a puncture. Oh, so his strategy didn't work, so it's a big shame. It was the driver of the day, I think, because his drive from the back of the field was remarkable, but now he has to pit and suffer the consequences of this unfortunate puncture. And he's off, but he will be in 9th position probably. Jarda Dohnalik is on the pit straight now, and coming fast on him. It will be close on the exit, but I think, well, let's see. Yeah, Jarda takes the inside and goes to 9th position for now. Well, I think we will see Vinsu taking the position back in the last few laps. This reminds me of the mountain bike race I watched today, where our Czech rider had a puncture from third position 1 lap from the finish. This seems very similar.
And we actually have a few cars on the grid or on the track right now with the rather thin tires in the tire diagram.
Yeah, so it shows that with some aggressive setup, not even GT3s are safe from the punctures. Vinsu following Jarda, I think going into the first turn he will take advantage of the slipstream, and Jarda probably not taking much of a fight because he knows his pace, but let's see. Yeah, Vinsu going for the goes wide. Jarda switches back, and this will be a bit longer than I imagined, but this is nice to watch. Yeah, Jarda going defensively. There's a little bit of a gap. I don't think Vinsu has the slipstream as he imagined he would have. So.
Well, Vinsu only changed his front left tire, which, well, is the obvious choice when you have a front left puncture. However, it probably also is making the car feel quite weird for the final 4 laps. Leo has a puncture front left. Leo is now in the problematic situation his fellow South American was a few seconds ago. He has to go back to the pit lane, and same spot where the puncture happened, braking into the hard braking zone after the long back straight. Three laps remaining. Leo out of contention for the win, which promotes Gotchki into third position and which improves his chances for the championship. Sean Lee, puncture. Now everything is happening at the same time. Sean Lee having the puncture into turn 1, and this opens the door for furtive racing Seb. Now, if I was Seb, I would pit. Just to be safe, and he's not really noticing the puncture of Sean Lee. Sean Lee is still defending his position into the breaking point. Ooh. Seb staying on track. Gotchki promoted into second position. He has some good tires for the final 2 laps. Sean Lee, going into the pit lane. Where will he end up? Gemini, who was on the pit lane earlier and who had the penalty after his pit stop, he is now recovering into third position. Now Gemini with a really, really nice race. Sean Lee returning to the track.
Yeah.
But getting overtaken by Mandula, maybe?
Yeah, as I return back to the server after timing out again, this is something that has happened. I see 2 punctures, totally mixed up order in the field. This is mad end of this race.
Let's see if Seb survives the final few corners. He has got 9 to go right now. He's in the lead. And he has some good tires. They are just cold.
Yeah, his last lap was 14.53. Goshki was 1.2 seconds faster, so this will be crucial if he manages to preserve his tires enough and have enough pace to stay in the first position. Goshki under 3 seconds behind and catching up with every turn. Owner is nervous behind Seb because he doesn't want to overtake him and drive another lap, but what's going to happen?
Seb wants to carry his car around the track for the final lap. This was the spot where his teammates got the puncture. He survived that place. As we hear, he might have some engine damage, and Gotchki is coming up close. But it will be enough for Seb, I guess. Time is running short. Seb into the final corner. Gotchki way faster through the final corner, but Seb over the line, winning. Oh, and he accidentally let Owner pass, so he has to complete another lap. Seb wins in front of Gotchki. Third position to Gemini, with a really quiet but excellent race. Mandula coming over the line in front of Sean Lee. Sean Lee falling down into 5th position after an eventful race again. Sabot 6th position, Leo in 7th position, Rubens Barrichello 8th. Jaroslav Donalik, 9th position, Vinsu in 10th, MRC Texas 11th, also with a strong recovery drive. Owner is coming around in 12th position after being granted a final lap. 13th position, 136, followed by Tapel Mucha in 14th, 15th Seba, 16th Hernan, 17th MRC Pedro, and 18th Gosho Cabaratora. Phew! Everything happened at the same time, it seemed. So we see on the stream our podium drivers in the middle in the white, black, and red car. It's Furtive Racing's Sepp. To his right, in the black and gray silver car, it's a Conquest Racing's Gotchki, who also scored the fastest lap of the race with a 1:12.46. Third position, as we said, MRC's Gemini, with such a remarkable recovery drive. We had, well, he pretty much flew under the radar throughout the race since the safety car period.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, I don't know what happened, but a lot happened, and mixed up the field properly, as you probably saw much with your own eyes. So this race got turned on its head within a few last laps.
But rather unfortunate for everyone who fell victim to the tire life. We actually have a couple of drivers who finished the race without a pit stop. Mandula in 4th position, Sabot in 6th, Rubens Barrichello in 8th.
But don't forget our leaders, our winners, Sepp and Goschke.
Obviously, Sepp and Goschke. 2nd place for Goschke, really important. So
yeah, and I said earlier in the race with Gemini pitting under the safety car that it might pay off for him, and it did. It really did. So out of the, I think, 26 drivers, we lost only 8, which is very nice considering how many incidents we had in the beginning and in the middle of the race, and the incidents with the lapped cars and the leaders. As you probably mentioned while I was out of the server, unfortunate for Sean Lee, unfortunate for Leo. Both had a brilliant fight and entertained us for the whole race. But it's the third in the back who laughs the most. It's Seb. Goschke gains his 2nd position from qualifying back, almost wins because of his better conserved tires. And some other winners, some other losers. Mandula, nice 4th place. Vinsu, unfortunately rounding up to top 10, but best drive of the day, I think, from basically 26th up into 5th, back to 10th, not overtaking Jarda Dohnalik in the end. Jarda held up, and also nice 9th position for him. Some unexpected placements, and this is what we like about the racing. It's unexpected. And this race delivered really fully, and I hope everybody who tuned in today liked it as well, as much as we did.
So, taking a final look at the GTR Monday 2021 calendar for today, this has been the 19th race this season, and we are heading to the great finale in 1 week time, the NGTR National, where the Drivers' Championship will be decided, the Team's Championship after tonight, probably already clinched by Furtive Racing. But will it be Conquest Racing's Goschke, or will it be Last Lap Motorsports' Lacunas? This is going to be the question for next week when Pete is back in the booth.
Yes, and you don't want to miss this race because it's going to be really entertaining with the small GT cars on this also deceptively easy track with lots of straight and lots of drafting. So I think the admins will be happy to have full field. So don't hesitate and try to participate.
Yeah, but don't underestimate the tire life there because we have heavy braking zones. But you will see when you are practicing for it. So, any final words from you, Kid? That have been very, very deep thoughts by you. With that being said, thank you for watching. It's been a really entertaining penultimate round of the GTR Monday. See you back in a week's time, and have a nice week until then. I'm Thilo Falkenberg, and alongside me was Zdeněk Kagash. Good night.